This has happened to you or you've seen it happen to someone else. A listing was created with a branded product. Look at the brand here. But the listing was created with generic as the brand name because sometimes there is no trademark available and you don't want to go through that process, but you still want to have a branded item. So there's no other alternative on Amazon.com. You have to list your item as generic. And many times when sellers like yourself list an item as generic, this brand name can change overnight to something that has no relationship to you at all. A random brand name, and now you can't make any more changes to your listing, and your sales probably go down as a result. So let's understand how this happens. First of all, let's have the explanation on how this happens. Sellers in other markets are looking at the United States market and they're looking for different ASINs. This is an ASIN. The ASIN is here. An ASIN can be like a product on Amazon, and here's the ASIN. This is the identifier. So you can say SKU, UPC, but in Amazon you say ASIN. The ASIN, when it's made as generic, there's other people from other markets. They see the reviews, a lot of reviews, and if there's an item on Amazon USA that has a lot of reviews, this is an opportunity for a hijacker in another market because they can take advantage of the ability that Amazon gives you because Amazon gives you this ability to expand to other markets, but they can take advantage of this ability and claim this ASIN as their own. And what happens is in the market that they're in, they would get these reviews. These are a lot of reviews, 476 reviews. So the hijacker would get these reviews, and they don't actually have to have the same title or the same image because whatever they submit in that market is going to be contributed, and if their contribution levels are very high because they have brand registry or whatever, then their contribution levels actually override what you have submitted in the United States market, being that your brand name is generic. There are certain contribution levels, of course. There's regular sellers, brand registered sellers, and there's vendor central. Vendor central overrides everything. Brand registered sellers override regular sellers. So since this is a regular listing, a brand registered seller in another market could actually override what's on this page as long as they registered their brand and they created the link and brand registry in other markets. So knowing this, we can now do a little bit of due diligence to find out why this says laughed care because this was not contributed by this person. What was contributed was just this. And this was also not contributed. So we have to do a little bit of due diligence here to find out where this is coming from. And I do know where this is coming from. If you go to Amazon Canada, we were in USA, by the way. Now we're in Amazon Canada. And you type in that ACE in the search results, nothing comes up. And you would think, well, okay, it's not Amazon Canada. But it is Amazon Canada because here's the item. As you can see, the brand name here is Laughed Care, and in the Amazon USA store, there's Laughed Care again, but the brand name remains generic. Why does the brand name remain generic? Well, more than likely, there's a lot of explanations, but more than likely, Laughed Care is not brand registered. It's just approved to be used on Amazon Canada. And being that this item is generic, has a generic brand name, this seller, well, there are no sellers, but this seller can create this listing with this approved brand name, and it will be contributed as part of this ASIN. And that's why in the USA market, it's now appeared here. If Laughed Care were brand registered, then it would appear down here. So be careful when you're doing your due diligence because an item does not necessarily need to be in stock. If it's out of stock, it remains invisible in the Amazon searches and you won't be able to actually find this item. You have to go through other methods like searches through add a product or maybe use brand registry tools to see exactly where all the items are because sometimes when it's out of stock, you can't actually see where this is coming from. So as you can see, you can go on Amazon Canada, put in a different brand name, and it will translate over to the United States market. And that's where this hijacking is coming from. More due diligence needs to be made to find out where this hijacking is coming from. But there's another hijacker somewhere in a different market that's doing the exact same thing, and we now know how they're doing it. So, here are some learnings from this specific case. The listing does not have to be active in another market to affect your market. See, it's currently unavailable, and I have it delivered to a place in Canada. This is my deliver location because I want to see what's active, what sellers there are. I don't want it to assume it has to deliver to the United States, because if I do leave it like that, it will always be currently unavailable, even if there is an active seller. So I want to change the zip code to zip code in Canada. Number two, a generic listing can be easily claimed by others in other markets. So if you're considering to do a generic listing, try to not do that. And maybe think about getting a trademark and registering for brand registry to avoid this bad situation happening, where you have a listing that existed for such a long time. You invested a lot of money in ads, maybe in the product itself, and all of a sudden it gets hijacked by someone else, and all of the work that you did is now done. And number three, just because the listing does not appear in the search results does not mean that the market you're looking at is not the offending market. So don't rely just on search results. Because if you rely just on search results, you're going to think that the offender is not here, but you actually have to dig deeper. And if you dig deeper, then you'll be able to find out exactly where this is coming from. And now you have more of a chance to actually get your listing back. Because one of the solutions here to actually clear this listing is to report the listing in Canada, the one that I found. Because obviously, if you can actually see here, the brand is not Laugh Care, the brand is Track Planet. So this is obviously incorrect. This can be leveraged and this can be corrected by submitting a request to Amazon via reporting or whatever it may be, and say that this is the wrong brand name. And when Amazon changes this brand name back to generic, then the USA listing will revert back to generic.